Hello, everybody. My name's Ben Medhurst. I wanted to take a moment to address a question which often arises when I have private sessions with people. So this can be perhaps the first video of a section on the Soul Channeling page to address some of the frequently asked questions, so to speak, yet from the perspective of channel. So here goes. This question is, Channel, could you give us your perspective on the differences between desires, wants, needs, heart's desires, spiritual desires, finding our true path or purpose, and karma or soul contracts? In other words, there's so much information, some of which seems to be conflicting around manifesting what you want as opposed to letting go of desires or expectations. So yeah, it's a question that really speaks to that level of mind. And as we know, the mind is such a powerful creator. And when it's given these kind of opposing forces, this kind of logic that doesn't really match up, how do we go about navigating that? So now I'll surrender to channel and see what they have to say. So here goes. And I'll ask them to be brief, as I know everybody's time's precious. We are here, dear ones. And as always, we are grateful to share with you in this way. So yes, indeed, from the level of the mind, many of the spiritual concepts are in some ways opposing. This is because, dear ones, the consciousness of your spirit, of your soul, does not exist in a frame of linearity with its opposites, with its dual experiences. In the body, in the linear life, it does. Yet from the point of view of your unified self, the true self with the capital T and capital S, these extremes are understood as two sides of the same coin. So let us now begin to unpack this a little. So in this moment, we are asking Ben to surrender a little more. And this is the surrender part of the equation. And the intention is to address this question. So we ask all that hear these words use their own filter, their own intuition, their own resonance to take that which resonates, which is for their highest good, for your highest good, dear ones. And leave anything that you do not need. This is one of the ways in which learning, expansion can become exponential. So we just say this at the beginning so that we may all come together for the purpose of understanding from the depths of our being. For the words do not always contain by themselves the deepest meanings. When we come through bodies such as Ben in these ways, there is energy, frequency, and vibration occurring simultaneously. And if you are listening, watching in your here and now, this is what we encourage you to focus on. And so, from this perspective of unified consciousness, when the subject of letting go of desires, as opposed to creating what you want, in line perhaps with your soul's purpose, the mind may begin to get confused. So it is, in a way, we might say, an opportunity to begin using your guidance system to decipher what is meant by these terms. The English language is very limited in this day and age with the amount of words to describe certain aspects of consciousness, or indeed describe anything. In times gone by, even the English language had a much more vast quantity of things, words, phrases to choose from. And this is why many on the spiritual path begin to explore languages of the ancient cultures which have remained, like Sanskrit, for example, for there are words that contain much meaning and very specific meaning. This does not mean everyone needs to run out and learn Sanskrit, yet it might be beneficial for those who are interested to perhaps be open to understanding, learning, and perhaps borrowing words and phrases from these ancient languages that describe in greater detail that which is more of an experience than anything else. And so this comes to the point. Why is it that you are asked to let go of desires in many ancient traditions? And yet you are also told in an opposite manner, your mind, your being is such a powerful creator that it can create anything you can imagine. And so with these opposite experiences, many get lost. So, dear ones, we would encourage you and all to begin to learn to quieten the mind, to quieten the thoughts. For this is the true meaning of what is meant by detachment. Detaching from the operations, the automatic, so-called unconscious stream of thought that is forever desiring to fulfill these senses that you have been given in your magnificent physical being. And these senses can distract when the level of the mind is connected with, that is only interested in gaining experiences through these senses. You have your regular 5 senses, and as many may know, you also have your extra sense perceptions. These extra sensory perceptions are accessed when you go beyond the level of just merely allowing the mind to direct the body, the thoughts, and the emotions to satiate, so to speak, these physical senses. And this is why detachment of the senses has been prescribed as a stepping stone towards getting that, manifesting that, which is for your highest good, or indeed opening the door to your higher self and beginning the miraculous unfolding of the human body's full potential, the awakened state. So, this is a little about detachment, dear ones. For in that attached state, this is simply referring to the mind unconsciously serving the senses. For this reality is so enticing with all of its joys, and so sometimes debilitating with all of its challenges. And this is what we refer to when we talk about the polarities, the dualistic nature of linearity. And now to manifestation. So, what is it that you want to manifest? And where, more importantly, is this desire coming from? This is what perhaps we could refer to as a heart's desire or a spiritual desire. In other words, a desire that serves your soul purpose, your mission, your reason for being who you are. And we would like to perhaps delineate that from a mental desire, a desire that is brought forth through the unconscious realm, so to speak, the awareness of the nature that has been created to experience. Mm. The key here, dear ones, from our perspective, is who or what part of yourself is in the driver's seat. Many speak of karma, soul contracts, etc. And perhaps these speak to the law of cause and effect, all of the actions that have occurred in your story up until the now moment affect the now moment profoundly. And we would agree in linearity, this is true. Yet, the current vibration of humanity is such that the law of cause and effect has, perhaps you may think of it as, less of a hold. And again, we ask that you use your intuition when listening to these words. For this universal law that governs the entire cosmos in this reality adheres to this energetic interplay. And so how, channel, can this have a less hold or grasp on the current climate? Well, we would say, dear ones, it is you. It is your ability to connect with the unified consciousness, the grander part of who you truly are, both individually and as a global society. In other words, the vibratory rate and beginning of the new energy manifesting through your practice, your efforts of spiritual evolvement and awakening, self-inquiry, etc. This has created a space in which you can detach, so to speak, from that dense energy. And we make a point here, dear ones, that lower energy or denser energies are not bad or wrong. They are part of an extremely expansive manifestation of all types of frequencies. And as you come out of what may be called dark ages, where the pendulum has swung in one direction so far that the external world, the material world, is given such high focus that the internal world is ready and needing to re-emerge. And it is in the awareness of this inner reality that the discernment, the understanding of these seemingly opposing concepts of letting go of desires and manifesting that which you really want. We know there is a popular song that says, you may not get what you want, you get what you need. Ben is reminding us, if you try sometime, you may not get what you want, you get what you need. And this is what we would refer to as the soul's desire. This is perhaps a better understanding of what the phrase soul contract means. And so what we would encourage the focus to be on is finding your own way, dear ones, of connecting with the part of yourself that knows this purpose. That is the true self speaking to your 3D self. This is union. There are many practices, yet it is not that complex. Taking a moment, a few deep breaths, allowing the thoughts just to be, being the witness. And as you practice this, slowly, bit by bit, when you notice yourself doing whatever it is that you are doing, when the witness part, your higher self, so to speak, is given that space to drop into the body, into the mind, and simply watch, you in this 3D reality will begin to identify with that part of yourself more and more. And as the witness to the drama that is unfolding, even within your own life and those around you, from that perspective, given enough attention, you begin to rewire your entire being, right into the physical reality. This is what all the ancient practices aim to achieve. And as that unification process takes hold, the higher self begins to be the motivating factor for every action, every thought, and every word. So this is the process. And when you begin to allow that space, so this is the surrender part. Once. Detachment refers to letting go of extraneous thoughts that are driven simply by the senses, opening up to be the witness to whatever energy you choose to call all that is, as it is embodied in your structure, intending that process, reminding yourself of that process. And finally, surrendering to each moment with that connected inner field, manifesting that which you truly want, and all of the things in between. So, if you would like to know more, feel free to inquire. We encourage and invite questions in the comments of this post to address that which you would like to expand upon in this container, this reflection that Ben is offering through his willingness to practice all that we speak. Thank you, dear ones. We are here and we are one.